Tony.
Good morning.
What subjects are you in charge of?
I'm the head teacher, so I oversee and manage the academic side of things with the teachers. And I also teach middle school science. I've taught middle school math. And then a few of the special programs that we have.
I've heard that students are learning various languages here.
We have Spanish available, we have French, German, and we have Japanese. So there is a big selection for students to choose.
What brought you here to teach at BDS?
I was just very impressed with, obviously, the beautiful campus. But BDS's approach to growth mindset, more of a holistic education, I think that was a very refreshing feel for me after seeing a lot of the competition and the pressure and the stress that happens in a typical school. When I came here, I was able to see the students walking around freely, laughing and smiling. In that moment, I felt that this is a good place to be. So that was really what inspired me to come here.
What factors do you believe foster the growth and development of the students?
Every student is a little bit different. Each requires something different. But the one thing I've noticed is their passion for the meditation programs that we have. Their passion for the Sonmudo and their passion for yoga, all of these things that make BDS a little different than the other schools. I really feel they depend on it to some degree. So I think it's become something that really helps them when they need it.
How do you bring different cultural views into your lessons?
As an international school, we have teachers from many different backgrounds. I myself am from the United States. Our history teacher is from the United States. Our science teacher is from South Africa. Our English teacher is from England. Our art teacher is from France. And our music teacher is from the Netherlands.
International.
Oh, so many different countries. So I think even just the teaching staff alone gives the students a lot of experience with different cultures, different people, different languages. But we also encourage the students through Korean history classes and Korean language classes to hold on to what is traditionally theirs as well. So we really try to promote many different cultural visions, and we do that just through everyday interactions.
Which activities do students enjoy the most?
I think they really enjoy their music class. Our students are very talented. We've had BDS bands, we've had orchestras, we've had choirs, we've had dramas, musicals. So I think music is something that they really enjoy. But this year we've started a philosophy class. When I told them about philosophy, they didn't seem excited, but it has since become one of their favorite classes as well. So they're very inquisitive, they like to question things, and I think that has turned into something I really enjoy.
Is there a story that always makes you smile?
It's been almost 4 years, so there's a lot of different stories. But the thing that really comes to mind is every time we have a closing ceremony, I kind of get this emotional feeling, I guess, because you can see the students going up, moving to the next level, and knowing that the end for some of them is coming. But they've always put on performances, and something that always made me smile was when they played music by Oasis, which is a very famous band from England. I never thought in my life I would be in Korea teaching students as they played music by Oasis. So I was taking videos and sending it to my friends, to my family, just showing how talented these kids were. Everyone was just so impressed and amazed by what they could do. And just thinking of that experience has always made me smile.
How do you support students who struggle with certain challenges?
Because we have a smaller student population, we have the ability to meet with them one-on-one. So when a student doesn't understand something or they're having issues, we just simply meet them after lunch, we meet them between periods, we hold them after class, and we have one-on-one time. And I think that not only helps them to understand a little bit more when they can have a focus on their particular issue, it also shows them that they have a teaching staff that cares. When they feel that, it motivates them a little bit more to continue working.
What efforts do you make to build strong relationships with the students?
When new students come, we like to do typical ice-breaking games and have them introduce themselves, but as you said, it can be hard for the new students. But we also have just a communal, very long lunch table. Every day, the seats of where students and teachers sit changes. So each student sits with different friends. It doesn't matter the age, it doesn't matter the grade, it doesn't matter the gender. And the teachers help to facilitate conversations. And I think that's been a good way to introduce the new students to each other. And we also do a lot of group work in the classrooms. So right now the kids are working on a science fair project. So as these new students have come, they've been put into groups and they're now working collaboratively to create a science fair project, to do their science experiment, and to put all of the information onto their phone boards. I think promoting more group work, peer work, has been a good way to get the students interacting naturally, getting them started. That's the issue. Most students don't want to start, but once they start, they've chosen things that are interesting to them. So once they get started, you can just kind of see the snowball effect where they start to become interested, they start to talk more, and they start to put their ideas on paper. So I would say getting them started is the hardest part.
Could you introduce some of the extracurricular activities at BDS?
So there's always a survey that goes out and students can pick and choose. And parents also have involvement with this. And then everything is then put together based on that. And in the past, there's been horseback riding, there has been golf, there has been boxing. Right now they go once a week to the local swimming area and do swimming. But then we also focus on academic after-school things such as the IELTS exam or SATs or TOEFL. We try to mix both academic and recreation into our after-school program. And I think that it goes directly to what BDS is, which is to help students find their passion. So I'm a big fan of the after-school program in the way that it really helps students find their passion.
What do you think students need to be global leaders?
I really feel that what BDS provides for the students is what really helps them to be a global leader. The biggest thing is the growth mindset. What we try to tell them all the time is don't have a fixed mindset. Don't say, I can't do this. Say, I'm not good at this yet. And that gets it in your brain. If I continue to do these things, I will get better. And I think that attitude is what really can help mold global leaders. Because if someone's ready to give up, they'll never be a leader. If someone is willing to put in extra effort and to try to become better, then they have that ability to become a leader. And that's what we're trying to make is the future generation of leaders, not just in Korea, but throughout the world.
How do you encourage shy or passive students to participate more actively?
There's been instances where a student will be in the library, a little bit shy, a new student, and they're keeping to themselves. So as a teacher, we'll go and we'll talk to them. And we'll try to ask them, how's your day? How's your first week? How's your first month? What can we do to help? One thing that BDS has always done is a buddy system. So when a new student comes, they're paired with someone who has quite a lot of experience here, who's been here for a while, that can help them with their schedule, that can help introduce them to the other students. So I think using a buddy system has been effective. You can't take people's shyness away. Giving them time, checking with them, and trying to incorporate group work, fun activities, after-school programs where they aren't just learning in a classroom, they're playing with their friends, they're doing arts and crafts, they're playing golf. It gives them a chance to do something new. And I think that's really brought students out of their shell.
Could you share an example of a shy student who eventually became more active?
Yes, there was a student. He would be in grade 10 now, but when he came, he was in 8th grade. He had been homeschooled for quite a while, so socializing was something that he wasn't necessarily good at, but he was a very bright young man, very kind. I knew that he could get along with the other students if he just gave the effort to socialize. Our students are all very close because they've spent a lot of time together. Sometimes it's hard for them to accept somebody that's new. So kind of bringing them together and over the course of a few months with the incorporation of our after-school things, finding common interests and putting those kids together, he really started to latch on to other kids. And what we found was his passion for soccer. He loved soccer. He would play soccer on his phone when he first came here. So he would play FIFA games on his phone. A few months later, we had students in the big field upstairs, or up in the area above the campus, and we were all playing soccer together. It was me and students and him. So we found that passion and we put it into practice with real soccer, I think was a very big turning point for him. He found something he had in common with other students who loved soccer, who loved sports. And after that moment, he was part of the group. He was accepted by his peers, and that was it.
How do you handle different learning speeds in students?
We do have kids that are fantastic math students, better than I could ever hope to be honest. But then we have students who struggle with math. It's a very wide spectrum of abilities that we have. But with the teaching staff that we have and the programs that we use, we can pinpoint where each student is, where they're having trouble, and then we can just help to build them up to where they need to be.
What resources or learning materials do you use in the classroom?
We follow the American Common Core standards, but we do it through something called Project Arrow. So that is an international standard for international schools. When it comes to textbooks, I like to give the teachers the freedom to choose the textbooks that they want to use, as long as they're following those standards. In my experience from teaching, it can sometimes be a burden when someone gives you just one book and says, you have to use this. Every student is different. So with 3 students, if they learn better with this material, but the other 2 students do better with a different book, then we can pull from 2 different books. We're not limited to just one book. However, we have a program for math called IXL, and it tracks the students, it finds their trouble spots. So we can assign things from IXL. By using many different resources, we have an advantage to help each student with individual learning plans rather than just grouping everybody together.
Teaching isn't always easy. How do you stay motivated?
The students do it for me. When we're working on a concept in a class and you see the students struggling and you're doing your best to explain things to them, and I'm sure you felt it, you just have that aha moment. The thing that motivates me the most is simply the students. They inspire me, and after watching them do all their classes in English, a language that's not their own, they are better people than I am, because I don't think at their age I would have been able to do something like that. So I respect them a lot.
You all seem so humble. Why is that?
For one, being located at a meditation center, I mean, it's peaceful already. We also have something called the 5 ships, which is what BDS was built upon. Friendship, servantship, healership, followership, and leadership. So all of these 5 things, we've really taken it to heart. By keeping these things in your mind, it naturally keeps you humble, and it motivates you to do what's best for those that are around you, not just yourself.
How do you measure the progress that students are making?
Learning in any subject, it's a very gradual process. So what I've always told the students is improvement is like growing. You don't see yourself grow every day. But if you haven't seen someone for a long time, they tell you, oh yeah, you've grown so much. The same thing happens with learning. You don't see your small improvements, but other people notice. And what I've done with the students is I've kept some of their original works, some of their original writings and assignments. And I'll keep them for 1 year, 2 years, and then I'll show it to them. And they can see the proof of where they were 2 years ago and where they were now. And that shows them the improvement. That gives them confidence so that they can see, I am getting better, I have gotten better.
What makes BDS programs so unique?
We're not strictly focused on competition, not on just strictly test scores. While those are important, it's not what drives our program. We like to focus on formative assessments rather than a summative assessment. So we want to assess where the students are throughout the process, not just at the end. So I think that is what makes BDS's education unique in Korea. However, the programs that we have at BDS are meditation programs, Hangul program, yoga, our after-school programs. All of these things have a purpose, and that purpose is to help each student become the best version of themselves, to be ready to face the next steps in life that come after school, and to become global leaders. And I think the programs that we have here really set them off on that path, because they have more experience rather than just study, 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 test, study, 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 test. We've been successful. Our first graduating class will be this year, and One has been accepted into Carnegie Mellon Business School, which is a very good school. One has been accepted into the Art Institute of Chicago, which is one of the best art schools in the world. And a third student has been accepted into Clemson University, which is a very good school in South Carolina.
Tell me about your exchange programs.
We have a partner school in Germany. The school's name is JNG. And actually, in the middle of June, they're set to come for 1 week. They'll study here with our students. They'll spend the weekend with our students in Seoul. Our students have gone to Germany twice, and the JNG students have come to BDS. Now this will be their second time. So it's been a very good program. It's something that our students have found a good experience to live in another culture, to stay with the host family, to experience school in another country. And it's voluntary for those students to come to Korea. But what's interesting is that program in that German school has become one of the most popular clubs that the school has. Everybody wants to join, they want to learn about Korea, they want to cook Korean food, they want to learn how to speak it. Korea has become so popular throughout the world.
Yeah. You have some overseas students here. Do you plan to accept more international students?
That's our hope. As an international school, the more international students that we can have, better cultural relations among different countries and among our students. We have one student who is from Germany, who's a BDS student. We have another student from Hong Kong. In the past, we had an American student, and we've had American camp students for weeks at a time. Promoting these intercultural relationships and exchanges is very important to us, and we would like to see more of it happen as much as we could.
How do foreign universities know about excellent students at BDS?
We had an academic advisor from the Art Institute of Chicago. She came to BDS and she gave presentations and she sat down with the students who were interested and went through their art portfolios and said, this is great, this is what you can do, work on this, start on this, and she gave a lot of feedback. After that meeting, our student applied and was accepted with a scholarship. So bringing people from the universities is something that has happened. As we grow, I think something that we need to look into more is to have advisors meet with these students and tell them what is the most important thing in order to be accepted.
I saw students wearing very happy smiles. What makes them so happy?
In general, I just think it's the overall attitude and the overall morale of the students. They just enjoy where they are. They don't feel overly burdensome, pressure, or stressed out. They're all completing their works. They're all doing very well in their classes. But they're not forced to do all of those extra things that might give them that feeling. I think we found a good balance. The students smile, they seem happy. I've always tried to let them know that they have the freedom to come and talk to us about anything, whether there's a suggestion for a class. If they don't agree with something, we want them to be heard. So they feel this sense of being part of everything. That's very important.
If students have academic or mental problems, who do they talk to for help?
So we have our dorm staff, who is someone that they can talk to, because a lot of those things should be spoken in Korean. Those are very deep topics to speak about. So our dorm staff and our admin staff are trained to handle some of those emotional needs, academic needs. I make sure that the teachers know that they should be available by email. They should be available to meet the students during academic times when they don't have a class. They should be able to meet the students during 30 minutes after lunch when the students have free time. They know that they can come to us, and the teachers know that it's their responsibility to help them. We know them all on a very personal level, and we know their passions, we know their hobbies, and we really try to use that to our advantage.
Do you have any advice for parents or students who are interested in BDS?
One way to do that is we offer summer camps, winter camps. We also do things throughout the year called schooling camps. Parents the opportunity to send their kids here for 1 week during the school year so the students can join classes. Once students join a class, they feel that it's not that hard. I shouldn't be that worried. I can actually do this. So these camps are posted on Instagram. They go through the morning letter from time to time. If you're thinking about sending your student here, we've got plenty of opportunities for them to try, and I really encourage them. to do that.
What would you say to parents who worry about their kids living away from them?
We have an amazing staff, the teaching staff, dormitory staff, admin staff, that cares very deeply because we know these students very well. What I would tell every parent is that we would care just as much for their child. We would do whatever we can to help them. Whenever they feel lonely, whenever they have troubles, whenever they're having difficulties in the class, that's our job and we take it seriously. I would encourage parents to try.
It's time to wrap up, and I've learned a lot about BDS today, Tony. Thank you so much for your time.